So I understand, Bob, that you have a phenomenal story to tell about losing your house and going
Well,
windsurfing.
it was a phenomenon. I don't know if it's phenomenal.
Okay.
but I was sitting at my kitchen table
Mm-hmm.
looking at the last $10 I had in the world.
Mm.
And I had bought this old wreck of a house 2 years before at the high end of the market, the highest interest rate, just before the recession,
Ah.
and put everything I had into the house. I'd work on it before work, I'd work on it after work, sometimes I'd even go home at lunch and get something done. And I put all of my savings, everything into the house. I built a greenhouse, a chicken coop, 30 kinds of fruit, organic gardens, and it was gone. I had gotten the facility I worked at closed down. There was no jobs. The bank foreclosed. This $10 was all I had to show for 2 years of work.
Wow.
And so I'm looking at it. I need to do something significant with this. It's my I know I'll get more money someday, but this is my last for right now. So I need to do something with it. And I look out the window and I see the trees bending, and there's a high wind out there. And somehow I think of windsurfing. And a friend had told me about windsurfing. I'd never seen it before. But she described it as dancing between the wind and the waves. And I thought, oh, God, that's going to be wonderful. And she said, you can rent a windsurfer for $8 an hour at Portage Lake. Okay, I'm on. I drive to Portage Lake. I take my $10 out, and I tell the guy I want to rent a windsurfer. He said, well, have you ever done this before? No. Well, you'll probably want a lesson. Well, how much are lessons? $65. I'll pass on the lesson. Just rent me the windsurfing. Well, it's pretty windy. I don't think you want to do it on a day like this. You want to come back when it's... No, I really want to do it today. He said, well, if I have to go out and get you, it's going to cost you $35. And you see those sailboats over there? Okay, look at those hulls. You run into one of those, that's going to cost you thousands. Okay? I'll take it. I push the windsurfer out into the water. I pull up the rope and I'm thrown right off the board. And the sail just slams into me, lifts me up into the air, and splashes into the water. And now I have the attention of everybody on the beach. Okay, and they're applauding, they're even rating how I'm getting thrown off and falling and slipping and tripping and getting dunked in every way imaginable. But it took about 3 times of the sail hitting me before I realized I had to have the wind at my back. And then it was pulling me the other way, because as soon as it caught, it just took off. And one time it actually pulled out of my hands and the board went off sailing, and I was standing there, was dropped into the water watching the board take off, and everyone loved that one. And I saw a man coming to me, an old man, just with ease, gliding on his windsurfer. And I thought, oh, he's coming to save me. He's going to tell me what to do. He's going to show me how to do this. And he gets within calling distance and he yells out in this deep German accent, "Get out of here. You have no business being here. You don't know what you're doing."
Wow.
It's like, oh. So I get on the board again and I'm thrown off again. I get on again and I'm thrown off again. And that goes on for 45 minutes. And then the wind starts to pick up. And I'm getting blown over toward the sailboats. And I'm getting close. And this time I'm able to stand on the board, but I can't steer. And I'm just heading for this beautiful wood hall. I'm heading straight for it. And somehow at that moment, 9 years of daily meditation kicked in. And I just focus on the end of the board. And the end of the board moves out into open water. And then I catch a gust of wind and it just takes off. I'm hydroplaning across the water. I'm hanging from the boom, just totally hanging, and the waves are licking my back. And I'm just in total ease and bliss as I'm flying across the water. And I get back up on the board and just steering by looking at the end. I come back into shore. And I've been out 1 hour and 15 minutes. So the only change coming from that $10 bill was within me.
Wow.
Yeah. And every time I was thrown off that board, there was a lesson to be learned. And the final lesson of that day was that there was something within me that if I stayed in the moment and allowed it to come through, something within my nature, and it wasn't a thought, it wasn't a feeling, it was an impulse, it was an awareness that there is a connection and that we are connected. And if I am in touch with that, I can find open water and I can fly.
Thank you.